I would like to introduce Phil Jennings to you. He's the VP of International Contact Centers for Ticketmaster. So something we all use, right?
Thank you, Robin. Thank you for differentiating me from North America. I'm international. Just in case anyone out there really wanted an Adele ticket and couldn't get one, I can't help you, I'm afraid. So, first of all, let me just say that we're not experts in customer success. I'm here really to learn, just as you're here to learn as well. But I'm absolutely delighted to be here to share some of our experiences. I believe that our business model is quite unique and has a large say in the way in which we shape our strategy. So this may not be the appropriate strategy for you and your brands, but we believe that it is for ours. So you're probably aware of Ticketmaster. It's part of Live Nation Entertainment, which is the biggest promotions business in the world. They stage around 22,000 live entertainment events throughout the year. Around 10 years ago, we merged with Live Nation Entertainment. So we now have a vertical organization in that Live Nation stage the events and we ticket those events on their behalf. But even so, Live Nation's own tickets only represent less than half of the tickets that we sell. So Ticketmaster generally sells around 200 million tickets worldwide, and internationally it's around 60 million. So that's the area of my responsibility. So you can see a heavy sort of footprint in mainland Europe and the UK, and then also down in Australasia as well. So that gives us lots of challenges. We have a risk and reward business model, which is different to the one in North America. So it is not unusual within each of those international marketplaces that we are not the exclusive ticketing agent for that event. So it may be that we have a 50,000 ticket capacity event for a major artist, but we may only get 20,000 tickets. And the rest of the tickets are allocated out to our competitors. So it's a function of your reach into the marketplace and whether you can actually attract people to your website. And then it's not unusual, again, for those event organizers to hold back some of those tickets and reward the ticket agent that is selling the fastest. So there is a sort of incentive to ensure that you have infrastructure, you can reach into the marketplace, you become the destination website for a ticket, and in return for that, event organizers will reward you with more inventory to sell, and therefore, obviously, you get more revenue. It's fast-moving and unpredictable. And I can say right here and now, hand on heart, there may be some events that go on sale tomorrow in our marketplace that we are completely unaware of. There are commercial discussions, no doubt, with artists taking place in various offices around the world at this moment in time. And when the contract and the deal is done, then we will mobilize and we'll put the event on sale and sell it very quickly. It makes it very difficult to forecast going forward. And before my life at Ticketmaster, I worked in the utilities business for around 15 years. And that was very predictable. You could actually forecast that growth would be plus or minus 5% each year. And you could staff accordingly. You could plan accordingly. It's very, very unpredictable. And it's very fast moving because major artists go on sale and there is so much demand, and I will show you a slide shortly. There is so much demand that they can literally sell out in minutes. And of course, on the international side of our business, we have a multi-language, multi-currency model as well, which makes things difficult in terms of a contact center infrastructure. It makes it difficult to virtualize. You cannot move a call in Norwegian to Turkey where you don't have the language skills. So it's difficult to actually virtualize your infrastructure. So we try to do things that effectively contain calls and contacts within the language that people want to talk. And growth on the international business is mostly by acquisition. So we will generally go into a marketplace where we have no presence, and we'll either acquire the number one ticketing agent in that marketplace or the number two. And that brings with it all sorts of other challenges, legacy systems, cultures, organization setups that don't quite fit what we would like to do. We also then enter and set up our own organizations in some markets from scratch, effectively a startup. And the business is becoming increasingly competitive. With the advent of online ticketing, small startups now are getting quite a sizable slice of the market in terms of their ability, their agility to move quickly in a marketplace. And of course, they don't bring with them the legacy costs of contact centers and all that expensive infrastructure. It's effectively a pure play internet proposition. And this continual move to the digital self-service marketplace, and this is really the crux of what I wanted to talk to you about today. You know, do we succeed? You know, I don't know. We do some interesting things. I think they're interesting things. You can judge for yourself whether we're succeeding or not. So that is the typical sort of model that we're aiming towards now, which is a ticket delivered in a QR format onto your mobile handset, and the other one is a print-at-home ticket. You'll probably be familiar with that technology. So this is the slide that I think puts everything into context for us in terms of our challenges with our customers. So this is Beyoncé on sale in the UK a month or so ago, in fact. And you can see the sort of latent demand before the on sale and the latent demand after the on sale, and huge spike during the on sale. So the top one is effectively bandwidth. That's the number of people that are on our website, ticketmaster.co.uk, and underneath that, that is calls received by the UK contact centre. Now you can see there that there is a huge mismatch between demand and supply, and that is one of the challenges. Most of the challenges that we have is not so much selling tickets, because we're geared up to sell tickets. A lot of the time it is how do you contain the demand afterwards? How do you turn away contacts that will never ever become a sale? How do you actually handle a customer who has no chance of getting a ticket in the best way possible so that you don't impact adversely too much on your CSAT? But how can you, as a customer service person, singly track NPS and CSAT when the demand is greater than the number of tickets available? So that's the sort of the obvious example and the way in which I can demonstrate to you some of the particular challenges that we have at this moment in time. And now I just want to set about how we handle those sort of things. So it's really about how do you support your customers digitally. 97% of all the tickets sold now are online. So it makes sense to service your customers online. So we're looking at automation and customer self-service. People are buying online, they're used to being online, why not service your customers online? We believe that you can reduce your customer effort, and that's really our main focus at this moment. It's not CSAT, it's not NPS, we track them of course, but it's about customer effort, the effort the customer expends on either getting a ticket or not getting a ticket. And what we're looking increasingly at is moving our support online with the customer as they go through the purchasing journey. And we're trying to aim for a seamless and single process throughout. So our online evolution, we started way back in the Jurassic times with a keyword search knowledge base and a series of FAQs. And that was good for us maybe 15 years ago. It was a way in which we could handle and give information to our customers to give them an informed decision. Around 15 years ago, we moved towards this type of approach now, natural language processing, using Inventor, using 11 languages, and it's effectively a customer-driven process. So the customer will click on a link and go into a comprehensive knowledge base to get the information that they need. More recently, in the last sort of year or more, we've moved towards more conversational knowledge base, moving online at the sales, a point of sales journey, and introducing avatars, which have been quite interesting, and trying to provide more proactive support rather than the customer seeking the information that they need. I didn't touch anything, honestly. Assistance is coming from the floor. Ah, good, good.
What do you just want to get back in your slides? Which one do you want to be on?
I'm not on that one. That's not mine.
This is, oh, your deck changed?
Yeah, deck dropped out.
Sorry.
Let's done it again.
Which one do you want to be on?
I want to be moving from that one.
You want to be on?
That's it.
Yeah.
I think we've done that. We've done that. We've done that. We've done that. And we've done that, and that's where we are.
Okay.
So proactive support is where we're aiming for. In terms of our current setup, this is our current customer service solution, and this is across all our international markets. So a customer will click on customer services, and they will then see the knowledge base behind it. And we use a number of sort of tactics to sort of try and streamline the content within it, because it is quite comprehensive. So we have a series of icons there, which are shortcuts to clusters of the knowledge base. So for instance, that we could cluster the content around the venue for the night of the event, or we can cluster information around cancelled events or altered events, and you wouldn't believe how many events are altered in one shape or another. And we can then have a top 10 number of content searches. And if we have a particular event or a particular piece of information we want to pin there, we can pin that at number 1 if we want as well. So that is the sort of information the customer would see, and if they click then on one of those pieces of content, which is I've not received my ticket yet, they will then get some information about a click through here to see the latest ticket dispatch information, to see if their tickets have been dispatched or they're still in production, or information about checking the tracking details of their tickets. So that is it's a fairly standard but quite complex, comprehensive knowledge base. And some of the things that we measure there is self-service. So 96.4% across all our contact centres and all our markets are actually serving themselves. So less than 4% of all the people entering the knowledge base effectively go on to send us an email or a web form. So it's a huge self-service rate. Of those people, around 86% of them are actually getting their content on their first search, which is fantastic, really. We then use those emails and the frequency of the content searched in what we call our contact disposition forms. So we can actually pick up what we believe are tech bugs, and we can feed those through to our tech teams to make changes. And we can also look at customer confusion as well, areas where there is repetitive searches for information, and we feel that perhaps the content needs clarifying. And we have an improving trend on CES, Customer Effort Score. So part of our survey with customers is not only customer satisfaction, but customer effort. And it's a very simple, straightforward question. How easy was it for you to get what you needed from Ticketmaster today? So that's the sort of what I would consider to be reactive customer service. And we've been experimenting over the last 6 months or more now on the use of proactive support using intelligent assistants. So the lady on the right is Veronica. She is deployed as a trial on our Turkish site, and I'll show you some screens on that shortly. And the one on the left is TicketWeb, and TicketWeb, there is a US version of TicketWeb as well, but this is the UK one. And you'll see that because it's a cool platform for young people, small clubs up to around 3,000 capacity, they wanted to keep it cool, so they're calling it a robot. Do you need help from our robot? So that's the TicketWeb one. You click on the do you need help from the robot, and there is a chat box that comes up. But the chat is fully automated. There is no live agent sitting behind this particular application. So this is a conversational knowledge base that has been built up from our experience, thinking about intuitively what sort of questions a customer would think about when they're going through the sales process. And we will then obviously offer them web forms if they don't get the information that they need, and they will submit those, and we will use that then in this iterative process to try and improve the content in the knowledge base to drive self-service. Bilitex is our Turkish business, and they use the full avatar, the moving avatar, and have been for around 7 or 8 months now, with some good performance. So there's another widget there in purple. You'll see, do you need assistance? And then the avatar appears with a chat box, and the customer and the avatar will enter into a conversation. And again, this is fully automated at this stage. Again, using information from previous transactions to try and make the conversation as two-way and as informative as possible. If the avatar is unable to help them, then out of hours maybe, or weekends, or in the early hours, you can submit a web form with the information that you need, and that will be picked up in the Inventor Backstage knowledge base, so that we can pick it up as an email response at a later stage. But if there is a live agent available, and in Turkey we use live agents, then that can be handed over to the live agent to continue the conversation and resolve the inquiry. So our process is basically 2 call flows. So what I would call reactive support. So this is the one where the customer goes to the website, clicks customer support, and then goes into the knowledge base. So the knowledge base is in green. You can see if we get through to the purple self-service, that's exactly what we want. We want the customer to search, get the information they need, and have a complete self-service transaction, and the query is resolved. If they still need further information, then they can submit a web form that goes into our Inventor Backstage system, where a ticket is raised. It will pick up certain parts of the information submitted. So if it's an event in the next 48 hours, then that will go into the urgent response queue. If it has the word complaint in it, it will go into a complaint queue and handled by a different set of people. But all of those tickets are subject to what we call the contact disposition. So the reason for that submission of that web form is analysed and then used to embellish or improve the knowledge base. So it is a sort of virtuous circuit or circle. And of course we send out the CSAT survey and the customer effort score survey. More recently we're looking at more proactive support. So this one is where the avatar is available to people as they go through the sales process at the point of purchase. The avatar is brought into play if the customer requests support. There is a slightly different knowledge base that is available there, which will help the customer in terms of their questions about the sales process. If there is a need, the customer can submit a web form, or a live agent can assist in that process. Again, a ticket is created. Again, the contact disposition is analysed, and we then improve the knowledge base again. So we're striving to improve and drive self-service as best we can. But it's not just about support. There is some revenue that comes from this process. So that is the last 7 months sales conversion online for our Turkish business. Now the scale is quite low there, and I was prevented from putting actual figures on the left-hand side for commercial reasons. But there is the 2014 and 15 in blue there, and the 2015 and 16 sales conversion rates are in red. And you may detect some slight increases in the red above the blue. And the reason for that is because the avatar has contributed increased sales conversion whenever it was clicked. And again, I can't use the scale there, but on the unique IP addresses that clicked help, generally the conversion rate is around 400% higher than when they don't. So it's not just about support, it's about revenue as well. So our next steps, we want to make the avatar perhaps more visible. You know, you need to get the balance right. You don't want it to be intrusive. You don't want it to obscure some content on your website. But is it big enough? Is it prominent enough? We want to launch the avatar in the Netherlands, which is in fact live now, and in Sweden later this month. We want to then migrate it to all our markets by the end of this year. And we want to continue this move towards digital self-service. So I was asked to put in a specific slide about what are the takeaways. Well, our takeaways are that digital self-service is no longer an option. Certainly in our world is no longer an option. The scale of our business is such that you cannot just keep adding contact center infrastructure on. It's too expensive. It's probably the best, could even be the only solution for us to handle our spiky demand in terms of contacts in a cost-effective manner. We couldn't have contact centers added onto our sort of infrastructure just for the Beyoncé on sales or the Adele on sales. And of course it can be a revenue earner as well as a support tool, and that helps somewhat in your ROI and getting support at higher levels in the organisation. And it's a necessary platform, I believe, for the future of AI, artificial information. So the way I see it is that the model that I put up earlier about analysing disposition, contact reasons, and then improving the knowledge base, that is a live agent process at the moment. I don't see that in the future it couldn't be that the information that's used for responding to those emails cannot be used then to automatically refresh the content in the knowledge base. So therefore you have this fully automated and refreshing knowledge base without the need for live agents to actually put that content in.